This is Rod Kusin Spooman for Risk on March 27th, 2019. All times on the chart are Central Standard Time. Where was the market going to go today in the short? Well, let's take a look at the composite market profile. Looking from the low on February the 8th up until the present time, the point of control has been at 27.92 exactly. And when we ran the composite market profile between that start date to the 22nd of March, we knew that the composite point of control was at 27.92. Now, was it going to stay there, especially after the 24th? Well, let's just take a look. When we go into the indicator and we adjust this to the 26th, we see the same point of control. So 27.92 was a pretty solid number. And where did the market go to today? 27.9175. That's where it bounced. So having a kind of a heads up as to where that market was liable to bounce off of helped very much in being able to anticipate not only the short, but being able to maximize that full trade down to that 27.92 point of control. Now let's take a look at some of our automated signals, and then we'll analyze those signals in the light of the premium. Now the high was up here right after the open, but we didn't get any automated signals in at that time. First one appears here, here, and then as we rebounded up to the upper value area over here. Now we've got a new tool for helping us to read the premium, and I love this tool. This is great. It's really going to help those of you that are trying to learn how to read the premium. And if you don't have this tool, by all means, let us know and we'll get it to you. So let's take a look at this new indicator and show you how easy this is to help you understand where the divergence on the premium exists and when to pull your trades. So here we are at the low of the open. All right, this is right at 831. And this indicator that we're calling the RSKsys indicator, don't worry about what it stands for, it's not important. But what we're going to do is we're going to look at the lows. We're going to look for divergence on the lows or divergence on the highs, depending upon the direction that we're trying to trade. Now, at the open, all right at that point here, you notice how this bar here, or this line, is a higher low. It's a higher low compared to this. Lower low, lower low, lower low, higher low. And the slope of our RSX is moving up. So we get a movement up, but we don't get a signal. But you don't need everything to be automated in order to read this. It is in fact very easy to do so. So you've got a positive slope on the RSX. You got a higher low here. So that indicates a good opportunity for a long trade. Now, as it moves up, we look at the highs. Here, here, okay? And we're getting higher highs. But now watch what happens when we reach this new high. We're looking right here, as well as this high. Okay, either one doesn't make much difference. When you compare this high on the premium to this high on the premium, you see a marked divergence. So a beautiful opportunity to short and very clear on the indicator. This is a much lower high, but a higher high on the ES. That's your divergence. Boom, down we go. Now, as we move down, we already know from the low that took place here, okay, that corresponds with this price here. We're going to come down and at least reach that level, if not go below. And that doesn't happen until over here. Okay. Really in this series of lows in here. So you could have shorted it and waited till at least that point in time. But as it turns out, when you're reading the premium, take note of what we're saying here. That's a lower high, corresponds with this. That's a higher high. Okay, that indicates that there's a very good chance that this market is going to test this price range, which you see happens right over here, as well as here, where we get that intermediate signal. So that gives you a nice heads up. As it turns out, we move down, okay, and this is a lower low. But now compare that low, okay, which corresponds with the low on the ES here, to this low. And see where the premium is now? We're at a higher low. Easy to see. And an expected move back up, because that previous price range that we just referred to is going to get tested, which it does. As we move up to this high, this is now a higher high. We've been stepping up higher. That means that regardless of what happens next, we're not at the top of this move. Not yet. And you can see see on the chart right in here, we do go higher before we short. So now let's look at what this indicator is telling us. That high, then this high, this is a little higher. But now look at what happens. When that price range right in here gets tested, here compared to here, what has happened? This indicator has dropped and becomes divergent. So what you're doing is you're wanting that price to get tested, either equal highs or higher high with a lower high on the premium, which is exactly what you've got here. Slope of the RSX is turning down, and you can take the trade. Now this happens pretty quick, and you got to be on your toes. But the fact is, the indicator is very clear. So now we move down, and we start to move down rather quickly. Now I'm just going to walk you through this some more so you can see more about how to read this particular indicator. All right, we're taking a look at this particular low here. We've got a comparatively new low on the premium. So that means the SPOOs are going to drop lower. They do. Look at the global indicator to see where we're at. We're now at a lower low, but a higher low on the premium. Very clear, higher low. This compared to this. Very clear. Market's going to move up. It does. We come up to this high. We go higher, and we come up to this high on the premium, and where are we at? Higher high on the ES, lower high on the premium. It's going to come down. It does. Come to this low, lower low. But now we come to this low, we're at a higher low again. And what happens? Market starts to move up. Now it moves a little bit lower, and we're at, again, a higher low. This is a low. Higher low here. Market's moving up. See how easy that is to read? That's incredible. I love it. Now, watch these indicators. We move up to this high. We move up to that high. Okay? Now, this is a pretty much an equal high here. We want divergence. We have a signal up there, but by looking at the indicator, we see this is going to move a little bit higher. When it does, right there, right as it moves up to that high, we're at the high of the move. And as soon as this begins to slope down, we're taking the trade. Now, if you don't take it there and you wait to see what else happens, when you move up to this next high, all right, you're at another lower high still. There's your divergence, and down we go. Now, as we move down from that high to the low value area in here, now is where we're going to start taking note of, what's the premium doing? And we come down here to this low, and you see where the low is on the premium here. So likely that this is a new low, both for the day as well as on the indicator. These are new lows for the day, all indicating that we're still going to move lower. So it is a rare bird that we would ever want to take a trade on a new low, a long trade on a new low on the premium. No, we need to be divergent. So as we move down to this low, yes, we are at a slightly lower low. And we are divergent on the premium. And it does move up, but it doesn't move up very much. Okay, so we're not really ready. You'd probably get stopped out. All right. We come into this low, and again, we're at a slightly lower low. And this is looking more promising. Okay, slightly lower low, but it doesn't really move very much. However, I should come back and mention something here. Okay, see that high? All right. This high doesn't really matter that much. Doesn't really matter that much. But this high, that matters, because there's really no divergence on here at all. So that price indicates, or this move on the premium indicates that price on the Spoos is going to get tested. So that's a heads up. That's a heads up on the fact that this thing is going to turn. So yeah, you want to start looking at long trades. Granted, this doesn't quite work out. This, on the other hand, is getting closer, but we still have a little further to go. Right in here, okay, We look at the raw data on the premium here and here. See the divergence? Now that's kind of a that's really not a good divergence here. That little move down. That's not what we would want to see. We want to see over here where that move down is more divergent. So right in here, okay, anywhere in here, try getting long right in here. That makes good sense. Now, as it turns out, we don't get a signal until over here, which works out quite well. And incidentally, the indicator here is moving down the RSX. There's where it's moving up. That's where you're at on the Spoos when that occurs. But as we said, we didn't get a signal until right there, which is a nice step up on the premium right in here. And so that price is going to get tested. It is, and up we go. Now let's take a look at this high. Okay. Where is the premium at this time? It's way down there. So that kind of looks like it's going to pull back. And it does. Lower low now. Higher low here. And we get a signal and a nice move up. A short signal then follows way over here. But let's look at this move back up to the upper value area. All right. Okay, premium is all moving up here. We don't see divergence, okay, until we get up in here. Right as we move into the upper value area, we see the divergence. Now, at the moment, we're in a bit of an upper slope on the premium as indicated by our moving average in here. But we're getting ready to short this. So as we move to this next high, all right, you see where the premium is. Slope is down. So we're getting ready now to pull a manual trade. And it's beautiful. That divergence on the premium is just beautiful. And it's very easy to see with this indicator. Oh, I love it. Now that manual, pardon me, that automated trade right in here corresponds with this divergence on the premium. That's great. It's a good signal. Let's look at this high. You see the divergence on the premium again. It's not a lot, but it is divergent. Again, lower high here. Lower high here. About an equal high there. Equal high there, yeah. And this just continues to tank. Especially as we see this market moving down and having some idea as to where this is going, of course, is very helpful. But this can help us identify other opportunities for manual trades. Manual short trades. We're in a short. It's very obvious. And we're below the projected low value area here and continuing to move down. You got to know where this market is going so that you don't prematurely start going long. But let's just suppose that you did, all right? So let's move this forward here just a second. All right. So you see how the premium has stepped up a little bit here, 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 and we're at this low. Yeah, you might go long here, right? But yeah, it's not going to go anywhere. Okay. because as soon as you move up to this low, you see how the premium has dropped? You know you're coming down. So that means, we're not going to be moving up until we get divergent again. And we get divergent right in here. It's very obvious. You don't want to go long here. That's a new low on the premium. But you do have some divergence here, and it moves up for a little bit of a scalp. But no sooner than that happens, and you start seeing the premium dropping here and here and here, okay? Any move up, all right, you know you got to short that. There's your high, but here's your divergence, and there's the high on the ES. Down you go again. You know you're going to go lower. You do. You come into this point in here, and you see a divergence between this low and this low. Okay, you're sloping up on the ES. You take this for a little long, and there's your high, and there's the divergence right there, and down you come. So easy to read. Wow. Now we're just going to pick out some particular spots on the premium that become predictive for us. As we move down to this low here, look at the low on the premium here. Okay, comparatively speaking, this is the new low, indicating that this price is going to get tested. So whatever happens from here on, we want to look for opportunities to take a short. Premium moves up, up again, up again, up even further, and then we get the divergence. It begins to drop, and you know it's coming down. So there's another opportunity for a short right in here. Now, as we drop below 2,800, the automated system begins to send out some long signals. Now, let's analyze these in conjunction with the premium. Now, as we come to this particular low, look at where the lows on the premium are, the raw data. Okay, these are lower lows. So we need to be in a divergent situation before we even think about taking a long trade. So right in here, okay, right in that little dip right in here, okay, that's not a good time because those lows on the premium are going lower. We don't really have divergence in here. So that signal doesn't make any sense. Now you come down into this low, that really, you're not really at a lower level on the ES yet. But what's interesting is this high. Okay, look at how the highs have gone. High, high, higher high. Okay. Now this is from some, in some respects, that's 99.75. Did we tag that? Yeah. Okay, so that's a higher high on the premium, equal high on the ES. But this is now predictive. So do we want to perhaps go along and ride this up for a scalp? Yeah, maybe so. Where's the divergence? We come into this low. This is a lower low, so it's not there. This is still a lower low, and it's not there either. We've got to be at a higher low on the premium with at least an equal low on the ES. And immediately you start to get that when we hit this signal. And that makes some sense because this, in fact, is going to ride up. And you know it's going to be at least moving up here. So to 99.75 and you're down here at 95, yeah, I mean, that's a couple of points. Now, I know we haven't hit the target on the market profile yet, But here's just a couple of things that the premium tells us. As we start moving up here, premium moves down and we hit this level on our indicator. So as this market moves back up, we really need to short it because there's indication that this is still going to come down, and the premium has let us know that in advance. But notice what it's also telling us. Look at this high, and this high. See how it's going higher? This is a higher high on the premium, a lower high on the ES. So that area right at around 99.5, this is all giving us expectation that this market is getting ready to turn. Same is true a little bit later. Okay, let's take a look at what the premium is also telling us in here. And I hope I'm not repeating myself. We had this long signal. We were expecting this to go back up to 99.75. And as it does, and hits 99.75 here, the premium is moving up. In fact, it even moves higher over here when it hits 99.5. So this little move up is predictive that this market is going to come back. Now, we're not at the low yet. And we know where that low and that major support area is down there at 27.92. So we still want to look for an opportunity to short this. But the premium is giving us good indication that once we short it and it moves down to that level, it's going to come back. And that's important to know. So now as we start moving down into the area where we're anticipating that this market could turn, we start getting more automated long signals. Let's analyze those according to what we see on the premium. So let's look at that signal first. We're at 93.5 when this happens. And we can see the premium is actually moving lower at that point. Okay. Here to here. All right. That's a lower low. We're not really ready to take that. We should move lower. And we do. Oops. And right in here at that signal, the premium has moved up dramatically. So yeah, that makes sense to take that, even though we're not quite at the low. This signal, not so much. This one, yeah, that's liable to go somewhere. Now, as we move up to these highs, watch the premium. Okay. See how the premium is dropped right in there? So this is coming down, no matter what. Now you come in here, there's a little bit of divergent, but you want to be at a lower low on the ES or an equal low. That means we've got to be dropping below 92.75. That's not happening here. Okay. Over here it is. You're at 92.50. And look at where you are on the premium. You've made a nice move up. Boom, boom. Okay. So yeah, getting long in here makes some sense because you don't know for sure whether you're going to actually make it down to that support level, but you're very close. So this makes sense. We're not done yet because although the market moves up, and there we are at 92.50 again, we move up here. Look at that high. Here, higher high on the ES, lower high on the premium. Not good, not good. Really, not so good. This is coming down. Finally, we hit the low here, 92. Okay. And when we compare this low to this low, there's some divergence in here. It's a slightly lower low, but we're divergent. And up we start to move. Look at that high. Look at this high. We're moving higher. Get a little bit of a pullback in here. But we know that that area around 99 was a target. So moving back up makes good sense, and holding that for long, especially after having once hit the support level, makes good sense. So you're kind of long for the rest of the day. But we won't take any further time to produce this video. The point is that this indicator is wonderful in helping you to see where the divergence is and pulling manual trades that way. Oh man, makes it so much easier. So like just moving in here, look at what you've got. You've got this move down. So look at the premium, it's going to go lower. We move lower. And right as we do into this low, you're in a divergent posture on the premium. You're at a new low on the ES. And when I say new low, I'm talking relatively speaking. And this starts moving up. Higher, 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 higher. Okay. And you're way right back up to that 2800 range. You had nothing to worry about. Premium was very clear there. Now watch how this indicator shows you that this high ought to be shorted. Look at where the premium is. On the right screen. All of a sudden now the premium is really dropping as you hit this new high. And down we go. Let's look at here. Now you've got a divergence. Move down, lower low, equal low, higher low on the premium. All of that is the same. It's moving back up. Now we're looking for an indication that this is going to go higher, but instead premium drops, so that low is going to get tested. Now you're finally getting a little bit more divergence in here, as you can see. Now is the time to move up, as you see the indicator moving up here. And moves up again. Very easy to read. Beautiful. All right, that makes for our video today. This is a great new indicator. And by the way, it also works on a 1-minute chart. It works on a 5-minute chart. And you practically don't need anything else. In fact, I'm just going to turn these off. Let me just show this to you. Okay, here's the same indicator. All right, so there's our, oh, come on. We're going to go lower. We go lower. Lower still. And finally, when we hit that low, look at where the premium is. Nice shift up. So yeah, you're going long. It's going higher, lower high, come down, higher high, pardon me, higher low. It's going back up, coming down a little bit. Good indication that this is going to come down even further because this is a comparatively lower low. Here's your lows. This is going lower, so that low, that price is going to get tested. You've got your new high in here, lower high on the premium. Down you come. That gets tested over here. When you're there, all right, you're at a much higher low on the premium, and up you go again. Whew, easy to read. Piece of cake. I'm Rod Kusanen, Spooman for Risk.